a woman got on the escalator with 2 big bags, and the bags fell on her. And she...
so right.
Oh. Sorry. The bags fell on her. She fell on another woman. Right?
I wish I was there.
Comedy capers.
And everybody just carried on. I was the only person who stopped to help. The 2 women are screaming. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry about these 2. What can I say?
Because most of my belongings never made it through the divorce.
You know, but
she made a great big bonfire in the garden with all my clothes and everything.
Is that all you lost in the divorce, or most of your money?
Quite a lot of money as well.
A little something to cure any happiness you may have going on. I've got Mike and Kev. We're grumpy old men, and we're kicking off with nosy people.
Nosy people, yeah. There's nothing worse, is there, than people who talk to you for no reason because they're nosy, right? They're joining.
There's nothing worse than people who talk to you. Never mind if they're nosy.
Yeah, I had an incident.
Just tell them to shut up.
I had an incident at the weekend, which I can report back to you on.
Yes.
I took the dog for breakfast, right? It was a beautiful sunny day. Yeah. And one of the places...
What does the dog have? Full English for the dog?
The dog always has, when I take him for breakfast,
brown
he has a small bowl of bacon.
Nice.
2 rashers cut up in scissors. He's very happy about it.
Lovely.
I decided, I was a bit hungover, funnily enough, and I thought, it's such a nice day.
The bacon's cut up with scissors?
Yes.
So you go out with scissors in your pocket?
No, they do it for me.
Oh, right.
No, they do it. I said, please cut it up with
this
scissors.
vision of Mike going out for a dog walk,
they might use a knife.
They might
carrying a shiv.
But it's basically,
they might use a knife.
It's basically sort of bacon that's that sort of size.
Okay.
You know, right?
Bacon
2 rashers
for the dog.
They asked me how many rashers. I said 2. Yeah. I had a full English breakfast, which controversially also included hash browns, which some people don't like, but I had them. Sat in the sunshine. It's beautiful, right? Had Ziggy, who's a very calm dog. Kevin knows him.
Yeah, lovely.
And people were coming up, and at one point this little kid came up who was literally about 3, or maybe even 2, and just started patting his paws, stroking him, and his father was American, and he was like, "Oh yeah, be careful," Anyway, they stopped doing that, and as they walk out to go to look at the beach, this woman who was standing outside the fenced area where we were eating said, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you." And it was like, I just looked at her and went, "Oh yeah." And the guy said, "Yeah." He said, she said, I had an incident with one of my children. There was a lovely dog. You don't know how nice they are. You never know what they're going to do. And he basically ripped my son's face off.
Oh.
And I'm going, all right, darling, you don't really have to say that to somebody. The little boy's there,
stupid thing to say.
Stroking the dog. Ziggy's literally lying down. He's the most docile dog you've ever seen in your life. And then the guy went off, and she said, "Oh, it's very true, I said, "Well, no." I said, I wasn't going to tell him because it's, I think it was probably okay. And she's like, "Well, I tell people because I think it's important that they know." And I just thought to myself, you nosy old bag. Yep. What has it got to do with you, right? She had a dog with her, which hadn't ripped anybody's face off. Yeah. And I just thought to myself, nosy people are some of the most ignorant people. And they come up to you in all sorts of situations. They can come up to you in a supermarket as you're about to pick a piece of cheese or something. You go, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I wouldn't have one of those." And you go, "Why?" "Oh, well, did you not read the story?"
You attract these. I don't encounter these people.
Don't you?
No.
But I tend to.
Yeah, you must be a magnet
to nosy
people.
I must be a magnet for nutters.
People want to get involved in your life.
They want to give me advice, unsolicited advice.
Do you find this, Kev? You get nosy people butting into your
I know
life?
the type of person that Mike is talking about. They're catastrophists as well. Aren't they? Everything is a catastrophe.
Everything's bad.
Oh, be careful of that dog, it'll give you a disease and all this kind of crap.
In golf,
Karens?
In golf,
are they Karens?
They might be, I suppose. In golf, if you get unsolicited advice from somebody, you can claim the hole and say, "No, I didn't ask for your advice, so bugger off."
Can you do that in the rules? That's interesting.
So unsolicited advice for me
at last is a way to win holes.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to use it now. Just get them
I've got a technique.
Give you advice. But if you ask for it, no, you can't get away. But no, I just think there's a certain, particularly English thing.
But it is English. I mean,
it's a very English thing. They think they're helping you.
Do we still have that programme Watchdog?
Don't think so.
I think it's gone.
Where Lynn Foldswood
I think it was killed off by
potential death trap.
I think it was killed off by Jill Dando's murder, wasn't it?
Oh.
because I think they missed that.
No, she was.
No, she was Crime Watch.
Wish You Were Here.
She was Crime Watch and Wish You Were Here. She wasn't Watch
Well, no,
Dog.
Wish You Were Here when she was gunned down.
No, that was Judith Chalmers. But Gil Dando did the BBC holiday show.
Anne Robinson.
Anne Robinson used to do
Watchdog.
Watchdog. Yeah. The hairy-faced Anne Robinson, as I like to call her.
Just a little late, Peach.
Yes. Anyway.
Look,
Get a razor.
Look, I think I'd take it. People sticking their nose in your business.
It's not. Don't do it.
And giving you random warnings, safety warnings.
But some of the worst people for that are family members.
Yes, that's also a pain in the neck. But luckily, I've fallen out with most of my family members. So
You surprised
the
me.
extended family, I take no notice of, and also nobody, no in-laws, nothing. I don't see them, nothing.
Well, look, Kev, Brits who pretend they don't care about Eurovision.
This is a bit niche.
Yeah, well, I could say I could have chosen Eurovision. By the way, I've got a problem with this year's British Eurovision Song Contest song.
The entry.
Guess what the song is? 3 girls, Dolly girls. And guess what the song's called? Bearing in mind the show that I do for Talk, it's called "What the Hell Just Happened." So they'll be hearing from my lawyers.
Well, no, or it could be a new theme tune for you.
No, I've heard.
You're not allowed to play it, otherwise you have to pay the fees.
Yeah, but I've heard the song. It's not the new theme tune.
Okay.
It won't win. It'll come last.
Are they attractive women at least?
Brits, this show, right, every year gets just about the biggest audience of the year in this country, 12, 13 million. Massive audience. Meanwhile, everyone in Britain goes, those stupid Europeans, they take it so seriously, but we're British and we've got a real sense of irony and we don't take it seriously at all. And then the newspapers do reams and reams and reams, and these people are interviewed on the telly and the radio, and on the night we don't win, everybody goes crazy. Oh, we should have won. It's only because of the politics.
Yeah.
That's why we did it. It's Tony Blair's fault. Ever since we aligned with America, nobody votes for us anymore. We're obsessed with the Eurovision Song Contest.
So you don't have a Eurovision party, do you?
I hate the Eurovision Song Contest. The Brits are the most obsessed with the Eurovision Song Contest out of any of the countries that take part.
It's sort of a gay thing, isn't it?
Oh, it's very gay, but it's also camp.
Well,
it's also,
I mean,
people love it.
obviously,
I hate it.
Obviously.
I hate it as well.
I mean, obviously, it played quite an important role in family life for us.
Yes.
But...
well, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. His dad was quite heavily involved.
Of course he
in it.
was.
I mean, he commentated on it.
Did he actually host the big night?
Yeah, he did when it was here. With Ulrika Johnson, no less.
Those were the days.
Those were the days,
They were, indeed.
Because there's also the semi-finals that take place.
Well, no,
during the
that
week.
didn't happen. They
didn't have those.
It was a one-off, wasn't it?
I think he did 2
was a
years of those
yeah.
semi-final
Right.
things.
But I mean, you know, your dad hosted.
Well, he took the piss out of it.
Yeah, he did
He took the
Children
piss
in
out of
Need
it.
as well. That's crap as well.
Well, you know, some might argue it does good work. Kev. Children in Need. I mean, unbelievable. Truly unbelievable.
I agree with you.
Is it, oh,
Terry, can I have a word?
I've never actually heard it.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry about these two. What can I say? Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Pointless award shows.
Yes. Here we
Now-
go. They're all pointless, aren't they?
Well, I mean,
We
look.
just had the Oscars, haven't we?
Well, I mean, the Oscars, you might argue.
No, they're the most pointless of all.
Ridiculous.
You know, the Golden Globes, you might argue.
Rubbish.
BAFTAs.
Right, rubbish.
You know, things like that. Maybe even,
Yeah.
is it the RT? Are they called the RTOs?
What
or
about the
National-
Trick Awards?
The
BAFTAs,
Trick
the Trick Awards.
The Sonys.
Rubbish. The
That
Brits.
goes on. The Critics
Brits,
Awards,
Brits.
However-
the Directors Guild Awards.
However, when you get down to Inside Soap Awards,
Yeah. No.
or one that I think maybe Kev used to sit on the judging panel for, the TV Critics' Choice Award.
Oh, yeah.
Was you on that?
I've been a judge on the for the BAFTA Awards several times.
What about Pride of Britain?
I
that?
was involved in that.
You were
But
involved
that's
in
kind of different.
No, Pride of Britain.
That's a very
rubbish. What a load of old sentimentalist crap.
Yes.
Oh, look,
Here's
a fireman who saved somebody from a fire. Oh, brilliant. Give him an award. It's just your job.
There was a disparity between the way the Daily Mirror projected that series, that award
When
ceremony,
was that,
and the way we
I mean, one
actually
might
thought
argue
about
that you know it was the old confidence trick to think. Look what we're doing over here
Yeah.
with our Pride of Britain Awards. Well, we're
I
doing
think
this
the Pride of
over
Britain
here.
Awards It might be the most boring of the lot.
When was the year that there was a big punch-up behind the scenes? You remember?
Most years.
Somebody was having an affair with somebody, and it all kicked off. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was always, pretty fractured.
You know.
But I mean, even in my industry, there are endless awards ceremonies.
Oh yeah, for food and all that.
Just to congratulate you on what, and it's not even when it's voted for by the public.
Yeah,
it's voted for by a panel of people who says they're right.
But you know why these award shows happen?
And why do people get them?
Well, I'll tell you why award shows happen. They're always companies. They're businesses.
Right.
So the Oscars is a company that makes the award show.
Right. And they make money out of it.
Yeah, of course they do. Right. So that's why they keep happening. Now, when you offer your services as an award show company to actors and directors, they're all over you because they love to be patted on the back. I would suggest that they probably have big problems when they're doing, I don't know, gardeners or something like that. Some people are not so interested in being awarded with great...
I tell you who love being awarded. Journalists like being awarded.
Love them.
People in advertising love being awarded.
My career has been a statement about award shows. I have steadfastly made sure I've never been awarded with anything.
Yeah,
You've never had anything?
I made a point of it.
Have you been nominated?
No, I mean it dovetailed nicely with their plans for me.
Right.
They didn't want to award me with anything, and I didn't want to know.
Have you won any awards?
I've not won any. I mean to spend my entire career not winning an award.
Mike and I have. We both boast award-resistant
award-free zone.
Award-resistant.
I'm impressed with you.
In fact, if I was
have you won pizza awards or anything?
We won
Pizza of the Year.
the London Pizza Festival.
That's all right.
In, I think it was 2016.
Yeah.
Voted for by the people who were there eating it, by the public.
Right. That's all right.
Right, and what they had to do was they had to take a sticker and put it on the board of the one that they thought that was the best.
Right.
Later on, I'll show you the board.
What was the prize?
The prize was a cup.
Oh, really?
A cup.
Which I still have at home.
Like a trophy.
Yeah, trophy.
Not just a cup.
Have you got a trophy cabinet?
No, because it's literally the only award
Right.
I've ever
I used to
won.
win quite a few golfing awards, but that was because I played quite well at golf.
Yeah, you were a good golfer,
And I was never allowed to have a trophy cabinet.
Oh.
My ex-wife wasn't keen.
Where are they
Had
all?
one.
I don't know.
Because
Most of my belongings never made it through the divorce.
You know, but back when maybe
Golf trophy.
I don't know what
she went off with them.
I think she burned them all. She made a great big bonfire in the garden with all my clothes and everything.
is that all you lost in the divorce, or
Quite
most
a lot
of your money?
Money,
Yeah,
quite a lot
most
of
of your
money
money as well. Utility companies.
Yeah. I've got a complaint to make.
No.
Um,
Well, there's a
apparently-
number you can call.
Yeah, there is. There's now a number of things are going to happen here, and you may know about this. I don't know whether you've been approached by your local electricity company, but I've been inundated by the company that I was using for my electricity because of something that's going to happen in June. Apparently, they're going to switch off most electricity meters in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And and those electricity meters are going to be switched off. This is according to my utility company. It will mean that your meter will cease to be able to delineate between nighttime use and daytime use. Right? Now, I don't particularly use a lot of electricity during the night. Some people do. Some people like to put the washing on in the washing machine after midnight because it's cheaper. I'm not particularly bothered about that. But anyway, so I started getting all these letters, and they got more and more demanding as the weeks went on. And I just kept ignoring them, thinking, And eventually I got one that said, if you do not answer this letter, you may lose the right to have any electricity in your house at all. Because, the switchover is happening and you must sort it out. So I thought, well, I better ring them, I suppose. Rang them. I said, can I get an explanation of what it is you're talking about? And they said, yes. As I suggested, it means that we're changing the way that we're metering your house and your usage of electricity. And we're going to need to make an appointment. I said, what does that mean? We're going to have to come and change your meter over. I went, all right. And they said, we'll need to give you a couple of dates when we can do it. And then they asked for a 4-hour window. 4 hours, right? They said, we can do from 10 till 2 on Monday. I said, well, that's no good to me because I'm at work. They said, we can do 1 to 4.
Well, that's all right.
1 to 5, actually. I said, well,
that's not good to me
on
on
that
lunch.
particular day, that's no good. No, well, we could do the weekend, Saturday. I said, I'm not here on Saturday. And we just went on and on and on. Eventually I said, look, can you not do me something better than a 4-hour window? And they went, well, that's what we give everybody else, as if I'm supposed to accept that. And I said, no.
Did you not point out that you were unawarded
I didn't
broadcast?
feel I needed to at that point. But as a result of this ridiculous encounter with them, I said, well, thanks very much indeed. I'm just not going to bother then. And they were so baffled by that, they didn't know what to do. So I immediately switched supplier. So I've now switched supplier to a different company who haven't mentioned anything about changing over the meter. So I'm now wondering whether the first company...
They're conning you.
We're just conning
They want you to have a meter.
Making it out
meter.
so I can have a smart meter.
And
right?
I know somebody who works for a utility warehouse and they say never get one.
Yeah,
And
I don't want one.
You know my story about the water. So
Yeah,
I get this,
the water, yeah.
I got a water bill about 3 weeks ago for £1,380. That was for a quarter.
For a quarter.
I queried this.
It's a lot of water.
To cut a long story short, after I dug up a load of mud and finally found my meter, a guy had been round 3 days before. That's why I got this massive meter. So a guy came to read the meter. It took me about an hour to find it under all this mud. He didn't read the meter at all. He put down any old number. I get a bill for £1,380. When I finally found my meter and sent them the picture, said, well, that's the reading. Guess what? It turns out they owed me 622 quid.
Very nice.
I mean, you know...
like
But if I didn't do that...
I know. So, I mean, they are thieves, these people.
Yeah.
Absolute thieves. So my advice is never give them a direct
don't
debit.
get a smart.
Never give them a direct debit. Don't get a smart meter. And don't believe a bloody word they say.
If a company wants you to do something, don't do it. It will be to their advantage, not yours.
Well, I mean, it's like that thing that they do where they take... It's like HMRC. They take stuff on in advance.
Yeah, well, that's what you have to do now, don't you?
You know,
pay
it's
your
like
tax
pay-
in
I'm not
advance.
paying-
Pay your tax in advance, pay for your electricity in advance. It's
I don't
like-
mind paying my tax in advance because that helps me. Because it means that when the day comes to pay the tax, you've already paid some.
Yeah, but
that's all right.
You know, not
I
everyone
don't mind
pays
that.
as much tax as you might.
Well, that's true. If only they did, the country would be in a lot better state.
I'm probably
But,
there
you
or
know,
thereabouts.
You know, here's the thing. But I'm not giving you money for electricity that I haven't used.
Yeah.
You can stick that right up your jacksie.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've
Good
had with the restaurants, right? I've had sites where unravelling where the energy comes in or the water comes in or whatever. It's like, you know, I've had sites that we've been operating out of for 10 years, and then they turn up and go, "That's not your meter reading."
Yeah.
You're like, well, who's?
Right.
And you discover you've been paying for the whole building.
Yes.
Yeah. And the meter reader, this guy, he took...
This was a fantasy.
Yeah, it took... Well, he just completely made it up.
Well, he wasn't willing
gone
to
in
dig
2
around
minutes.
in the
It took
dirt
me about
like
an hour
you.
to find the damn thing. It was under about 2 foot of mud. So he just didn't do it.
No, shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Well, moving on from that very valid point, people who sneeze and cough without covering
I'll
their
tell you why I thought of this. I was coming into work today on the tube and I was thinking Chuck, our producer, wants some grumps. So I came up with a few and I was struggling. I come up with 3. I need to come up with 4. Somebody next to me suddenly goes like that. Not even a remote attempt to put his hand over his mouth. And I've noticed more and more. Whether it's coughing or sneezing, you know, people sneeze and a sort of tsunami of snot comes out. And all they do is this afterwards. They don't even do that.
Now, this person who coughed and sneezed in this, did they have headphones in by any chance?
Actually, they didn't, but often they will have.
Yeah,
That's
because
a good
they
point.
can't hear themselves coughing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a basic politeness, isn't it? To
absolutely.
cover your germs.
It is.
I think adults don't tell kids that anymore. It's the same as they don't tell kids not to drop
shut up.
litter and
Right.
not
shut
to
up.
exist
Or stab
anything
people.
like that. Yeah.
Don't tell them to stop stabbing
Stop
people.
stabbing people,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Right. Do you know, my son actually said that to me when I was giving him a going over about something. He said, well, at least I'm not stabbing anyone. I went,
Oh, excellent.
oh, great. It's not exactly...
Set the bar low
not
for
exactly,
achievement.
not exactly a moment of joy for
Was
me.
that the night you locked him out of the house?
No, this was subsequent to that.
Okay.
You have that on your gravestone, wouldn't it? As a big compliment. You know,
but-
here lies Kevin O'Sullivan. He never stabbed anyone.
Right.
Generally, this plays to the lack of care for your fellow human across
yeah,
the board.
selfishness,
Inconsiderate.
yeah.
Now, strangely
word.
enough, as I was coming here today to do this show, a woman got on the escalator with 2 big bags, and the bags fell on her. And she...
Serves her right.
Sorry. The bags fell on her. She fell on another woman. Right?
I wish I was there.
Comedy capers.
No, and everybody just carried on. I was the only person who stopped to help. The two women are screaming. One of them's really hurt themselves. She's got a leg cut open.
Jesus.
I'm shouting down, can somebody please press the stop bit? Because they're getting dragged. I mean, they're both hanging upside down, one with a bag across her face.
Crikey.
Managed to get them all sitting down. And then, because the escalator was stopped, the numbskulls at the top start walking down. And this guy, I'm like, mate, seriously, come on. He's like, oh, I just want to get through. I said, no, you are not going to step over two injured women. Go back up and go down the down escalator. You know, I nearly...
if I was him, I would have gone back about 5 steps and then run at it and jumped.
He could have... Then it would have been impressive. If he'd taken a running jump.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And if I'd have clipped one of them, you know, so be it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think that thing of people who show no consideration for anyone around them, sneezing and coughing. I was in this meeting the other day, and this guy, he turns up, and he's rotten with a cold, sitting there. You know, I mean, I've thrown a pack of tissues at someone on the train before.
Yeah,
didn't go down
it's disgusting,
very well.
and it's, as you say, it's really selfish.
It's inconsiderate, no question about that. But it's like you say, everything else is the same. You know, it's people. The other thing we'll probably turn it into a separate discussion at another time.
Yes.
But the number of people now who get on a bus, and I get on a bus pretty much every day, who have got the sound turned up on their phone, and they're watching something. You're going, why haven't you got any bloody headphones?
I've got a thing about buses.
We'll come back.
We need to come back to buses.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you travel on a bus because I think they are the preserve of the insane.
But it's the quickest way
I
home.
get buses every day. Right,
Quickest way home.
Well, look, I want to talk about cooking shows.
Right.
In particular...
Meghan Markle's got...
Well, hold
Meghan.
on. Cooking shows that actually don't teach you how to cook.
Right.
Well, she should watch.
Example...
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle with love.
Well, she can't cook. That's
well,
why.
no. I mean, of course, she's not going to show you how to cook. She can't.
Used to be a show,
But there are so many of these cookery shows out there that actually don't teach people how to cook.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that people are overweight or eating too much processed food or doing it is because they can't
Pizza
cook.
joints, right?
Not pizza joints. Well, some pizza joints, just not home slice, available in central London.
Healthy pizzas.
Healthy pizzas.
They are very healthy. They're very good.
They're very good. They're
I
very
endorse
good.
them.
They're
No
good.
doubt about that.
They're good for here, and they're good for here.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that thing of, do you remember when we first had cookery programs? I mean, like if you go all the way back to Fanny Craddock.
Fanny Craddock,
right?
yeah.
If you watch Fanny Craddock now, I mean, she didn't half serve up some filth, but at least she was teaching
giving you
people
recipes.
how to cook.
Yeah. She was like
the food of
you know
the
the
time.
American book, The Joy of Cooking, which is like a proper old-fashioned cookbook,
Julia Child,
which shows you sort of how to do all the basics. Like if you don't know how to make gravy, they'll tell you.
Yeah, Delia.
Yeah.
How to cook.
Right.
You know, early Mary B. Even, may I say, Jamie Oliver's first 3 books really taught people how to cook
That was
and
before
cook
he
in a
invented
different
the
way.
35,000 recipe, things that you
Yeah,
need
but they
to
do.
put
You're
in
right.
whatever it is you're
Harry
making.
Bikers do very good
But
books as
all
well.
of that stuff is missing now. It's
Yeah.
just about, are they kind of glossy enough and interesting enough?
Do you know that you have actually honed in on what I know for a fact horrified Netflix executives when they first saw With Love Meghan? Because their head of content, a woman called Bella Bajaria, at a season launch said, Meghan's show's going to be great because you watch it and you think, how do you make that delicious dish? And then she realised with a mounting sense of horror that Meghan doesn't tell you. They just make the dishes and there's no
makes the
real
dishes,
method of how to make
And Netflix should double down and they should have Meghan Markle and Brooklyn Beckham cooking together.
Yes. That might make
grumpy.
that might make
See
a
you
show.
next week.